Hello folks, Mundane Man here again, and today's video is a continuation of the video I did on when I ripped the Nerf bar off the side of my truck when I ran over that cement barrier, and part of that revealed the corrosion that was happening underneath those bars due to the use of calcium chloride in our city. The good news is they didn't use calcium chloride this year, so the message got out that people weren't in favor of it, and that's a good thing as far as I'm concerned. I'll post a link to that video up here wherever, somewhere where it ends up, and you can watch that one if you want. But this video is basically a continuation of that, where I'm going to replace the Nerf bars on my truck with new ones. And it's not really a step-by-step process, but it does give you some information on how I replace them and what product I use to do that. So let's get at it. Okay, so I put it up on the old ramps here because the old gut won't get underneath it without some height. So that way I can get under here and get the old brackets off the old running board. Okay, that's the driver's side one off, and you can kind of see the same kind of corrosion was starting to happen underneath there too. Okay, here's all my parts laid out. We got the brackets for doing no drill installation, and that's what these plastic tabs are for. We got the nuts and bolts and washers and lock washers. Then we have the brackets that hold the running boards or the pipes onto the truck, and they're nicely marked with a D for driver and a P for passenger, so you know which brackets you're dealing with. The middle ones here are I think they're generic for both sides because there's no marking on those, and I think they fit on either side. And these are my 4-inch, what they call Nerf bars, I guess. They're not running boards per se. And these aren't the ones I originally ordered. I ordered these from partsengine.ca, a Canadian company. I just kind of randomly picked them because Amazon did not have the running boards that I wanted. Originally I'd ordered 4.5-inch Nerf bars from a different company, same supplier, Parts Engine, but they didn't have them. So, and of course those ones were on sale, but they offered me these, which are only a 4-inch, which is plenty big enough, I think. And they were listed for $499, and they gave them to me for the sale price of $369, including tax, which is what I would have paid for the 4.5-inch. Okay, let's go underneath and see what we've done. So this is the front bracket, and for whatever reason this one required a plate behind it, and then there's the bolt that slides into the upper hole that holds this top plate on, and then the lower bolts that hold the bracket in place. And then here is just basically what's holding the tube or rail on. The middle bracket is big enough that it has the whole plate here. I think on some models on the front bracket there's a plate here that helps support this front bracket,
And on the 2012 Ram, it doesn't have that support plate there, so that's why they give you the spacer plate here to do that. And the middle bracket. Just a second, I got my lens dirty. Is that better? And then the rear bracket. And then you can see where they mount, the tubes mount on those brackets. Everything's torqued to specification, of course. They give you the torquing specs on the directions. Like I said, there's a lot of videos out there already on how to do this. Now, on the other side, I'm going to have some problems. Because you can see over there where the other running board ripped out. So, I'm going to have to get creative somehow, because it pulled the threaded plugs right out of there. And I even bent the pinch weld there too, so I'm going to have to get creative on how to mount these brackets on the other side. The front and the middle, I don't know if we can, yeah, there's the front. You can see where they ripped out. In the middle, the back ones are okay though, they stayed in place. So with these Nerf bars, you may be wondering, well, which one is the passenger side, which is the driver's side? They both look the same. And one way to tell is there is more stainless steel from the foot well, or foot pad rather, to the end of the Nerf bar, and that is the portion that's facing front ways. So if you look at the one that I installed, you can see here it's the long piece of stainless that is going towards the front of the vehicle. And the short piece goes towards the back. Like I said, the instructions aren't all that clear on how to tell which is the driver's side and which is the passenger side. Okay, we're working on the passenger side now. And as you can see, when I hit that little cement barrier, I pulled out the threaded dowels that were in there. So what I did in the middle bracket here was I put a string on one of the bolts, fed it down through that hole, and got it into the other hole, just like over here. And I was able to put a nut and washer, luck washer on it to keep that one in place. And then they also have these little arms that you put in the hole here, like that, and that provides you a second threaded nut on the frame, or sorry, on the rocker panel here. Okay, and there's the passenger side one put on. Fit and finished pretty good on these. Everything lined up the way it was supposed to. There's a bit of adjustment. The mounting brackets are slotted, so you can adjust a little bit side to side. Let's see what we did underneath here. So here you can see I put in that bar that had the welded on nut on the end of it, so that holds that part of the bracket in, and then I was able to get a bolt through the back and put a nut and lock washer on there. Same with the middle, and the back one I was able to use the original threaded inserts, and then this bar just kind of sits straight in there, you know, because I'm not using the nut that's welded onto that bar. So overall, looking good. Now I will say the old brackets were a lot beefier. They had this tab that sat in the upper slot, and then you had the two bolts that held it into those inserts. And there is some flex to these when you stand on them. I think they could have used maybe 4 brackets on it, but the problem is if you're trying to do it in a drill-less fashion using the factory installed inserts, it's too hard to put in a 4th bracket. So that would be my only complaint about these, is there's a bit of flex in those brackets.
Well, that's it for this edition of Mundane Man. This really wasn't a step-by-step video on how to put on these Nerf bars. I did show you a little bit how they mount. My biggest rant was about the calcium chloride they're putting on the roads here in our fair city, and the impact it's having to infrastructure like my garage floor, vehicles, the wheels on my wife's Jeep, you saw the underside of my running boards where the mounting brackets were all corroded. And I hope enough publicity gets out there for them to stop using that type of product, because it's not only going to impact people's property, city infrastructure is going to be affected as well, which means my taxes are going to be going towards repairing things that are the fault of the stuff that they put on the roads. So anyways, that's my rant for today. If you like these kind of videos, don't forget to like, comment, and share, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.